Assalamualaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Today I stand before you to speak about a man whose name resonates with the struggles for freedom and justice for the Kashmiri people. That man was Maqbool Butt. Born on February 18, 1938 in a small village of Trindon, Maqbool Butt grew up in a region deeply affected by political tension. His early years were shaped by the struggles of the partition of India in 1947 and the political fallout that followed. Kashmir was caught in the crossfire of complex geopolitical issues, with the people yearning for their rights and a future so bright they could shape themselves in. From an early age, Maqbool Butt showed an unshakable commitment to understanding the political climate and the burning desire for change. Growing up as a student in Kashmir, Maqbool Butt was no ordinary child. He was passionate, outstanding, and deeply motivated by the struggles of his people. His intellect and commitment to the cause led him to become involved in political activism at a young age. He believed his life's purpose was to do something for the Kashmiris facing injustice and living under foreign rule and experiencing political and economic oppression. By the 1960s, Maqbool Butt found himself in the midst of political turbulence as Kashmir's autonomy and status were constantly challenged. In 1965, he was forced to leave his homeland due to mounting political pressure and fled to Pakistan. In the following years, Maqbool Butt's vision of a free and independent Kashmir became clearer. He believed that Kashmiris should not be subjects of either India or Pakistan. They deserved the right to hold their own identity. He called for the removal of foreign control and an end to the repression faced by his people. His voice became one of the loudest, advocating for Kashmiris' rights and self-determination, and his efforts to raise awareness on this cause gained international. As a result of direct action in the late 1960s and early 1970s, Maqbool Butt became more radical to his approach, accepting that peaceful resistance wasn't enough for free Kashmir any longer. Maqbool Butt advocated for armed resistance, calling on the people of Kashmir to raise against Indian forces occupying their land. His commitment to the cause led to several confrontations with Indian authorities. In 1966, Maqbool Butt was arrested by Indian authorities on charge of involvement in rebellion against India. Despite Maqbool Butt being innocent, the Indian government proceeded with this trial, which was a huge mark of human rights violations and unfair legal processes. Despite numerous protests calling for his release, Maqbool Butt was convicted and sentenced to death. In 1968, Maqbool Butt escaped from imprisonment and went to Pakistani-administered Kashmir, where he was again arrested by Pakistani forces and was accused of being an Indian agent. He was extremely tortured by Pakistani forces, and in 1976, Maqbool Butt went back to Indian-held Kashmir to educate people on the importance of independent Kashmir. He was once again arrested by Indian forces, and the Indian Supreme Court reinforced his previous sentence. In 1984, after years of imprisonment, Maqbool Butt was hanged on February 11 in Zahar, New Delhi. His execution sent shockwaves through Kashmir. It sparked violent protests with people mourning the loss of their hero and expressing their anger at the Indian state. Maqbool Butt had become a martyr not just for his family but for the entire Kashmir. Maqbool Butt's sacrifice was not vain. His life and death brought global attention to the Kashmir conflict. He became a symbol of resistance and hope for future generations of Kashmiris. His call for an independent Kashmir free from foreign domination continues to echo in the streets of Kashmir to this day. He inspired countless activists who carried his message forward, demanding justice, freedom, and the right to determine their own identity. Maqbool Butt's legacy is woven into the fabric of Kashmir's struggle for independence. His courage, deep belief in the freedom of Kashmir, and his dedication to the cause will never be forgotten. Today, more than 3 decades after his execution, his name continues to be invoked in protests, rallies, and demonstrations. His vision of a free country lives on in the hearts of those fighting for the rights of Kashmiris. Maqbool Butt was a man who dared to challenge the powers that sought to suppress the will of people. His life, his struggles, and his ultimate sacrifice is a huge symbol of the empowerment of resilience, the importance of standing up for what is right, and the unbreakable spirit of those who fight for Kashmir. To the children of Kashmir, I want you to know that you come from a place with deep and broken history, a place that has seen both struggle and strength. Maqbool Butt sacrificed his whole life for the freedom of Kashmir. He left his family, his friends, his home for the sake of the justice of Kashmiris. He didn't do anything for the fame or recognition, instead he did it for you, the generations to come, so you have a chance to live a life of dignity and pride as a child of Kashmir. You have every right to be proud of your identity. Kashmir is so much more than a place on the map. Kashmir is known as heaven on earth. Though we may not have been born in Kashmir, our roots trace back to Kashmir, so we should keep the people of Kashmir and their daily struggles in our minds and hearts and dedicate a little of our lives to the sake of them. We are a part of the future of Kashmir, and your actions and love for your land will shape it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.